What is up, you guys? You know what time it is. You know what time it is. We got the crew.
We know what time it is.
Yeah. But we are on
broccoli time.
What is up, you guys? We are in a
It's me, your boy. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait till I get in the water to actually get stuff on camera because I can't with these guys. We got Scott, we got Sebastian, we got Matthias the Great. We got Matt and Lily over there with Reef Scope. Check his stuff out, I'll leave a link. And then also we got Spinny Dog over in the back. And we got a couple of divers on this trip because we are rocking in the Freeman. Look, there it is, there, right there. This is a big old catamaran. You'll see us, you'll see it from the water.
We're doing a giveaway today, 37 Freeman. Like and subscribe. You can be the next winner.
I knew this was gonna happen. It's been a long time since I did a video, and I think the last one was when I had the stringer of grouper along my waist. That was
hey, whose idea? That was a good one. That was a good idea.
But we are rocking all primitive gear today. I'm actually gonna set up the center line with you guys. I'm gonna set up the center line, the new center line pole spear with you guys.
We're real primal.
Dude, you're famous. You're gonna be famous.
I can't help it, Jack. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. But I'm gonna set up this pole spear. I'm gonna take you guys with me, so don't go anywhere. All right, so this is it, nice and stowed. It's like the size of my torso, maybe a little bit more. It is already basically taken down like a tent pole. You start basically push it from the front. Start building it from the back towards the front.
2 notches go in the middle. And then cut it. Yeah, cut
and like I said, you're just, it's basically strung and already pre-set up. It looks complicated, but it's actually not too bad. And then this last section, I have two more sections in case you want to add both of these. You'll turn it into a 12-footer.
Thank you. Grab that pepper.
All right, so the bad news is somehow on the journey, there's a little piece, a circular screw nut basically that goes over this and pulls and keeps the cable tight through all these tubes. It's gone. I don't know where it went. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some Dyneema. I'm gonna tie a bunch of lashings around this to where it kind of holds it tight, somewhat snug, and then I'm gonna put my band, loop it through here to where I have the band like normal on the back. Hopefully it works. And cause yeah, I really want to use this spear because it's so badass. Look at this. I found an old rubber stopper that you use on the Predator pole spears that you use to set the distance you want your slip tip. I found it and I just put it on here and it's basically holding this super snug. So there is no bolt here. I'm gonna have to replace that. I don't know, or maybe find it. I don't know. Hopefully I find it. All right, but we improvised, we made it happen, and now I'm gonna see you guys down below. We're all geared up. I'll give you a quick run through of what I got. I'll give you a quick rundown of everything I got. I got my light on the hand in case we see some groupers in some cave. Got the Moana fins. People ask me about my fins. These are like my go-to. I've had them since 2017, and look at how, like, that shows wear and tear, but they are so good, completely functional, and I beat them up a ton. Also got the mask, just a regular mask, have the DJI GoPro action cam. I'm filming on a GoPro, DJI Osmo action cam, and I'm actually filming right now on a GoPro. Got the weight belt, have the belt reel with the tuna clip, about ready to hook to the back of my pole spear. Dive knife, little extra clip, which I need a throw flasher. I think I lost mine on the last time I dove. So I'm gonna clip on a throw flasher, hook everything up, and I'll see you guys down below. All right, you guys, welcome to the voiceovers, and now I'm gonna kind of walk you through my pole spear setup while I prep it to get in the water. You see me just put that slip tip on. I usually do it before I get in the water, and then I have that bungee, which has a loop at each end. One is wrapped around the bungee where I load the pole spear, and then one you saw I clipped up into my belt reel, and I use that tuna clip, so if I'm at that depth and I need to disconnect, I go ahead and just quickly unhook the tuna clip. Honestly, one of my favorite inventions ever, how easy it is to engage and disengage a tuna clip. So definitely look into getting that if you're getting a pole spear and using a belt reel. So this first drop, I was obviously kind of like the last one in the water, so everybody kind of sussed out the situation, and I went ahead, they said a cubera went into this crack, and even though it's a shallow crack, you would be surprised on the critters that hang out in these small cracks. I've shot in like 50-pound cuberas in little cracks like this one. So I go down, turn on my flashlight, and I'm checking every hole, and you'd be surprised, like I said, the amount of space a big fish can fit in. So I'm checking every single nook and cranny, getting as far as I can up in there, and I'm looking for a fin or a face or something like that. And I obviously don't have a spear loaded. I think at this point I'm looking at some dog snapper that is way back in the cave. At this point, obviously it's not worth it. It'd be a pain to get my pole spear in there, but if it was a big cubera, a grouper, they'll probably be sitting tight, and I'll have a chance to come out, load up the spear, or I could take a section out of the spear and put it back together and make it a little shorter so I can maneuver it in there. But they'll usually, when they're rocked up like this, a fish, they think they're untouchable, so they'll just hang out there for a while. So this guy must have moved on, so it's time to check out another spot. Some nice dogs in there. To get a pole spear in there is tough though. I'm not too far from that last spot, and this is a really quick dive. I saw a cubera go into this cave, so I go ahead, load up my pole spear, know that I'm probably gonna see something in here, make a drop, have my light ready, and as I see, I think I see a cubera, but I actually see a black grouper, and he starts taking off. I shot him on the fly. When that happens, you don't really get as much penetration, because once the spear hits him, it starts moving its momentum to the side, and it doesn't have as much penetration. So just a little flesh wound on this guy. Hopefully I'll get him next time. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. We moved along to a different spot, a little bit deeper, and this day was really slow. So I'm gonna take you on these dives. Even if I get something, if I don't, you're still gonna kind of see how I do things. On this one, I went ahead and threw my little throw flasher, and usually when it's slow like that, I throw my flasher just to hope to bring something in. I make my way to the bottom, and really the only main thing I'm banking on is either hogfish or mutton snapper. The chances of me seeing a grouper or something like that are very unlikely, or maybe I might get lucky and see a Spearo. But you don't really know until you go down and find out. And on the way down, when my flasher was going down, there was obviously yellowtail chasing after it, and that kind of can bring some commotion. And as I'm down there, I'm doing a bunch of grunting, hoping something comes in. It obviously piqued the curiosity of this nurse shark, but nothing substantial comes in. Actually, there was a Spearo right there up at the top of the screen, and that was exactly what I was talking about. It might, you know, some of the commotion might bring in a predator fish just like that one. But he just literally passed real quickly and moved on. Sometimes they'll be a little more curious, but if you're ever drifting like this, definitely just get down there. Get down there, do a couple of, you know, you don't have to push yourself, just do a little bit of diving just to go down. Either, you know, you can also enjoy the dives that way instead of just constantly hunting for your fish, going down, seeing creatures just like the nurse shark. And unfortunately that Spearo didn't come in, but maybe next time. So roughly in the same area, we come across a huge pack of hogfish. Somebody pointed this one out to me. I think Sebastian or someone may have shot one already. They pointed out this one, so I go ahead and make a drop. Again, we don't have really hardly any fish in the box at the moment, so I want to make sure we secure a hogfish. I honestly should have taken my time. I was going for the perfect headshot, and that's kind of what happens. High risk, high reward. This thing grazed off of his face. Luckily, the hogfish didn't really spook, which allowed me to kind of get in hot pursuit, take maybe a more conservative shot on the next one. I was about to turn up to the surface, seeing that this guy had kind of gave me the juice a little bit, but he kind of mellowed out, turned sideways, and I landed a nice gill plate shot. Very secure and kind of a safe bet whenever you're taking a shot on a fish like this. Those that also don't know, always brain, bleed, and gut your fish. But with hogfish, they don't really have a bloodline. So I've tried to bleed them, but nothing really comes out. And the meat is usually pure white. But either way, I'm definitely going to gut it because it could lead to other fish coming in, just like this next flip. This is shortly after, I think I still have the hogfish in my hand. Sebastian makes a drop, absolutely rolls this hogfish, and this is perfect case scenario. You see where he hit him? He hit him kind of like right forward in the head. That was the first shot I was going for, and like I said, high risk, high reward. This is perfect case scenario. And when he did that, a nice yellowjack came cruising in, and I grunted, but he wanted nothing to do with us.
Nice job, dude.
So because we are heading home in one day, it is one fish, hogfish per person. Matthias makes a drop. Lands a nice gill plate shot on this hogfish. And the best thing about hogs is that you don't really have to rush the shot. I did a little bit on mine and I learned the hard way. Not worth rushing the shot. Just take a nice easy shot. Don't mess up the meat.
That's all good.
All right, you guys, we have something really special. So Spinny brought this like mom Stanley on the boat, and it's like been falling out of the cup holder, landing on people's feet, and Matthias absolutely hates it. So we're gonna do a little prank on him, so stay tuned for later in the video. You're not gonna want to miss out. Now it's time to jump into a little bit of a deeper area. We started off a little shallow and it went into a drop off, and Matthias and I already have our hogfish, but we make a drop. And it's kind of hard to see in the video, but if you can make out, there's a ton of hogfish at this spot. There was probably one of the bigger ones we've seen of the day, but we just opt out of shooting because we've already shot our limit. And there's a ton. See, there's one right there, and all the fish at the floor right there, you can see them, are moving. Those are hogfish. And I don't know if I've ever seen this many, like this big of a school of hogs, which is really great to see. And honestly, I mean, we're not dying to get fish at this point. Hogfish, we definitely got our limit on this trip. Everybody was able to shoot one, so it was really awesome to see how the hogfish population is really thriving, and it goes to show that those regulations are working just how they should, and it's really amazing to see. Now it's time to get in the deeper stuff. We're in, I think, between 80 and 90 feet, which is kind of pushing it. But I go ahead and make a drop, and it's, you know, we have multiple divers. Spencer actually makes a drop at the same time, and he spooks a fish, kind of comes to me, and I'll talk about that as we get down there. But this stuff is kind of unforgiving. You're gonna want to pick and choose your battles. You don't really want to overexert yourself or push yourself. Making sure you have ample breathe up time in between dives, and then also make sure you're having buddies watch your back. There's obviously a lot of areas these fish can hide. Spencer goes down, looks in a crack, and spooks a nice black grouper. I don't know if you can see it, but that, oh yeah, right there. It spooks all those grunts at the surface. So I kind of start making my way. I know I'm way away from the fish. He kind of starts swimming towards me and goes into a ledge. And now I try to keep my eye on the ledge, head up to the surface. I know Spinny saw him because he kind of looked out that direction. I'm kind of getting a layout for the land as I'm heading to the surface, kind of thinking of an vantage point. And it looks like the grouper went in kind of towards the top of that reef. So I'm going to go up, breathe up. I know where he went in, and I'm going to go ahead and, you know, assess the situation.
Nice black. Yeah.
If you guys don't know about breathe ups, a good rule of thumb, well, I always have a dive watch. That's number one. And the best thing to do is, say you do a 1 minute dive, I'll be at the surface for at least 2 minutes. You know, I always like to do a little more if I can, but that kind of is a catch-22 when I'm doing these longer, deeper dives. If I do a 2 minute dive, that means I have to be at the surface for like 4 minutes. So it's kind of a give and take. If I'm doing a deeper dive and a longer dive, you know, it's obviously worth it because I want to, you know, I'm usually drifting or something like that. But on this stuff,
you know, I do a 1.5-minute dive, I need to be at the surface for at least 3 minutes. And that's bare minimum. That's the rule of thumb I always go to. I don't push it unless, you know, I'm going down quickly to put a backup shot in somebody's fish. But that's the rule of thumb I always go by. So now I thought the grouper went in this hole, but sometimes these reefs are just labyrinths. And you cannot really figure out which holes attach to which. And you know, all the fish know the ins and outs of everything down there. And from the surface, this whole area looked like a huge cave, but every spot was a dead end. So I don't know where that grouper went, but it's another one of those things. You want to pick and choose your battles. How much time do you want to spend on this spot for one fish when you know, have to head home soon? It's just not worth it. So headed up to the surface, we move along, and this grouper gets a pass just because he has a really good hiding spot.
Not as much as I thought.
At this point, we have no grouper in the box. There was a nice strawberry grouper hanging down at this edge. And trust me, if you have an opportunity to shoot a nice strawberry, there's nothing really else around, you got to take the shot. Matthias makes a drop, and it was funny because he said that it was down there, but I could not see it for the life of me. And you can tell me if you see it as well. And another thing with these strawberry grouper, they usually give you, you know, sit around and give you the time of day. This guy ended up just kind of being cornered into a little mini cave. And there's not a ton of meat on these grouper, but they are absolutely delicious. They're pure white meat. It's nice, soft, flaky meat. And I mean, it is one of my top. You have to try it. Comment below if you've tried it before.
Girlie's eating good tonight. Oh wait, I didn't hit record. You got to put them back and do it again.
So I quickly turned on my GoPro, threw my flasher, put my slip tip on, loaded my spear, made a quick drop on this Spearo that came right into my throw flasher. But there was something that happened. So, you know, I remember how I said foreshadowing on the POLESPEAR for me kind of jerry-rigging it like I did? Well, there's a reason you don't do that. It ended up losing tension, and the front section came out, and when it kind of got, if you saw, this tip was turned a little bit. When I hit that fish, it snapped the swivel that was holding the cable inside of the spear. Now, if it was set up properly, this would have never happened, but the fact that I was running it improperly and irresponsibly, I snapped that little swivel. Now, it wasn't a huge, you know, undertaking to fix it. It's just a little tiny swivel that needed to be replaced. But I did take it out after the fact. I've gone on multiple trips afterwards, and it's been working flawlessly since. And also, that was just a kind of a fluke and irresponsible for me just because I wanted to use the spear.
I didn't gut him or anything. I had a shit show. That's what happens when you shoot huge Spearos.
No more headhunter center line for me, so my friend had a spare POLESPEAR that I was able to use, and I was not very confident at all with this thing. I made a drop. It was a little shorter, so I made a drop on a nice school of mangroves, nothing too crazy. They were very good size, a little darty, and there were a couple of shots I probably would have taken. Like that shot I probably would have taken with the center line. Unfortunately, I wasn't too confident in this pulse. Like that shot definitely would have taken it with the center line. But I wasn't too confident. I didn't want to lose any fish. It's kind of towards the end of our day diving. But I do land the fish of the day, and we're going to do our catch and cook on it. So don't go anywhere. Last fish, last dive coming up. Oh, and you have to see that prank later on.
No, just big mangs. Because this POLESPEAR doesn't, I know it doesn't have the range.
I believe Scott shot a dog snapper or something like that, and he gutted it, and a nice mutton came in. He was kind of very hesitant. I think we made a drop on him and he kind of scooted off, but I know he was around, so I went ahead and threw my throw flasher, kind of just as a Hail Mary. This thing started going down towards the bottom, and I don't know what it was, but that freaking mutton got tunnel vision. I loaded up the POLESPEAR, headed towards my flasher, and that guy met me right at it. He turns away from it right there, landed the shot, and when you're on the bell reel, you can kind of go grab your flasher, do what you need, let your POLESPEAR just kind of do its thing, head up to the surface. Absolutely stoked on this fish, and I'm gonna prep it real quick before we get in the boat and finish off the trip with this awesome prank. And then also there's a catch and cook at the end of the day. You guys aren't gonna want to miss this. So once I head to the surface, I'll talk you through how I prep this thing.
What? Yeah, he came after my flashy. Dude, we're not totally useless. No, he was hauling ass into this. He was totally focused on this.
So normally, everything is normal. You want to brain him, you want to bleed him, and then gut him, of course. And what I should have done, I should have just gutted all the way up to the top. I went ahead and pulled all the guts out. But because of what I'm doing, I'm gonna go ahead and gill this thing. So you kind of cut the gills out, just like so. And I'm kind of adding things just because I'm bored. So I decided to go ahead and cut all the way up the stomach and then cut the throat right there. Just kind of open it up, clean it out, and you'll see why later. So once I get this thing fully prepped, you'll see here in just a minute. Once I cut that, you see how I can kind of open up the collar, open up everything, and I can kind of rip all the gills out, chop everything off, any extra sinew in or any extra bloodline or anything like that, clean it up perfectly, and now it's ready to go.
So we only had to do one hog, right?
Yeah.
We don't have enough line.
Yeah.
There's no water left.
Do what?
There's not really.
So we just put a squid for bait in his turbis, and he's gonna see. He's gonna take a look, and I'll try to get it on camera.
You did something, dude. Why is it f***ing clogged? You bro. Oh my god. I am so glad the safety setting was on. 5 check. You got me good too. You sneaky son of a bitch, bro. You.
What was in there?
Dude, Squidward, he's going down. Unbelievable. How that didn't shoot down the back of my throat. Freaking miracle. I'm gonna get back, dude, in this life or the next. He's mine, mark my words.
Oh god. Oh, that was so good. Alright. We're cooking up some ceviche. I'm putting some mango in it. We'll see what's good.
Shit ain't funny, dude.
Holy smokes! Yes, welcome to my crib. That was an absolute day on the water, but I'm gonna do something really special for you guys. You saw me already clean and take care of that fish on the water, and that's what makes this so easy. I went ahead and held the fish head for a while, and now I just put some water. This is the mutton. Ooh. Let me take care of you guys real quick. So this is the mutton. I put a little bit of water down at the base. This thing is like a little grate thing that you can pull out once it's done, but I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer, let it cook, and it's just basically steaming that mutton head. It gets all the bone marrow, the fat in the head and everything, and it just cooks it down into the water, and it's just so healthy for you. Tiva, come. Come on. Come on. All right, and what I'm doing inside is I got some bacon that I chopped up, so it's gonna be little pieces of bacon, and then I have some garlic cloves that I'm gonna chop up. I have onion, jalapeno. I'm actually get some sweet potatoes. That's what I wanted. Sweet potatoes are always delicious with this. You guys can honestly put in any veggie that you like, but I just love the sweet potatoes, so I'm gonna dice these up into little cubes, and I'm gonna bring that fish head in really soon. So go ahead, get these guys. It's a good idea to get something to kind of chop them up with. Let me get a little spoon. See how I cut them all up, and then I put them in there before I started, or chopped them up before I started cooking them. But I need to make sure I break them apart. See how these little cubes. And then whenever I finish cooking these down, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this stuff in there and let it saute all together. All right, we're putting this right here so it can continue to cook. But first I actually have to let this sit and cool off. This is the broth. There's like about that deep of water mixed with everything cooked down from that fish. And then this is the fish. I'm gonna go ahead, swap out the lids. I'm gonna dump that bacon in there, but I'm just gonna let this stuff cool off because I'm gonna pick through it with my hands. So go ahead and take that off. One last little, oh God. There's a lot of bacon grease in here. Holy crap. Can't go wrong with, can't have too much bacon, right? So I don't want to get all of the grease, so I'm going to kind of turn it this way and just let all the pieces of bacon fall into the pan, or the big pot here. Like I said, I'm angling it away so the bacon stays dry out of the grease, and we're left with just a big pan of bacon grease. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get these veggies, toss them in the grease. We're just gonna saute everything up, including the jalapeno. And then I might throw a little bit, yeah, look at this, God. Just let all that saute up. Got that, and we're gonna actually turn this on. I'm gonna go like medium-low heat. Let that sit there, cook and be delicious. And then I'm going to, we need to chop up this garlic. I get out of hand. Things get out of hand and I lose track. So this broth with the bacon is cooking up pretty good. I'm gonna put some bone broth in it just to give it some more liquid. This is kettle and fire. And this one has a little bit of flavor. It's some turmeric, ginger. That'll probably add some good taste in there. And I'm supposed to put tomato sauce, but I don't have it. So I got tomato paste. I think it's similar or the same, but regardless, it's what I got. So that's what I'm adding to it, and I'm sticking with it. Almost wrecked my life. I almost just stabbed my freaking finger. That would have been awful. And this stuff is cooking down. It's getting really like golden brown, which is a good thing. I'll probably add that in there real soon. These potatoes, do I want to do, I was thinking about sauteing them. I think I'm just gonna put them in the stew, as is. And all of this deliciousness is going in here. And what I'm gonna do is just let this thing cook down. Oh, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up. Let that stew kind of cook down. I'm gonna add some, you want to mix it up, especially because I used tomato paste, not sauce. Sauce would be a lot better. It's all I got. It's all I got. And then now, I might just use the rest of this turmeric ginger bone broth. And you can use vegetable broth or chicken broth. I got some cream, optional. If you're dairy free, you don't have to have that. I'm gonna mix that in there, use it all. And none of this stuff is like correct portions or anything like that. I was thinking about adding rotel. I might add rotel, which gives it like some more veggies, because I don't have a ton of veggies with me. give it a little zest. And none of this, like my recipe is different every time. And this is how you get good in the kitchen. You know what mixes with what. And you can, you know, come up with your own concoctions. I'm gonna add some salt. Always like bringing out flavor. And, oh God, I almost lost my earpiece. And I'll add some pepper. All right, that stuff has been boiling, and I'm gonna kind of show you how I pick through this. This is the backbone, and then that's basically the head. And I'm gonna be pretty selective with how I pick through this. All you do is, I mean, obviously it's just how I said it. You just pull any meat off, like there's meat right there, and you just put it to the side. And you pick, look at all this meat, like every one of these is like a nugget between the backbone. See, I'm just like pulling them off. Try to avoid scales, little bones, like there's a scale right there. It's a little tedious, but it's not too bad, especially once but look at all that meat around the backbone. If you haven't seen one of the videos where I actually cook a backbone on the fire, it's pretty wild. But yeah, look at all that meat that I just pulled off of that. It's very self-explanatory when you do it because you can see all the meat as it comes off and just kind of, you're just running through your fingers through it. And all of this meat around the bone has so much nutrients. It gets some of the bone marrow, all that extra collagen and the omegas. It's so healthy for you. And this is where all the meat is, especially in the collar. I'll show you in just a second. All right, so this is the head, but the underbelly, this kind of fell apart, but the underbelly is called the collar. And look at all this meat that is under here. There's like a little lining, and then underneath the lining, between that and the skin, it is such tender meat. Look at this. It like just slides. You gotta make sure you don't get any bones, but yeah, look at that. It's so moist. Like I said, it seems tedious. You can go as in-depth as you want, but just for what I'm doing, I have so much meat, and it's just me. So I'm kind of just gonna run through it real quick. But all of this stuff would have been thrown away, all of this meat. I'm like getting piece after piece, it's insane. And then you also have the cheek meat, which is right here. Look at that. And this is super tender. Look at that. Deliciousness. So I got everything done, and look at this bowl of meat. I could have gotten a little more into it and gotten a lot more meat, but for what I'm doing, I'm making a smaller batch. Look at this. Oh, it smells so good. It smells like tomatoey and bacony. And I just get this, just dump that in there. I want to get all of it. Get in there. There's no way I didn't get a single scale because there was already one that just fell off. So there's gotta be a scale in there for sure. I'm gonna let all of this stuff take in that flavor of the bacon, of the seasoning and everything. And I'm gonna just shut it off, put the lid on, and just let everything just kind of cook and just sit there and just get all beautiful deliciousness together. And I cannot wait to taste this. And I'm gonna make sure I get a lot of the product in here, not just like broth, but the broth is so healthy for you. All right, got sweet potato. I have basically everything in there. Oh, no bacon, there we go. Let me get a piece of bacon in there. Look at that. That bite is gonna be so freaking good. It's such a combination of like incredible flavors, and the meat is so soft. But if I could change one thing, I would definitely use tomato sauce, not tomato paste, or maybe do without the tomato stuff at all, but I usually like adding that Manhattan tomato flavor. This was an absolute amazing episode. I was really happy I could get you guys over to the Bahamas. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, give it that thumbs up. Also, if you want to do a little bit extra, consider becoming a YouTube member. You have to do it from your PC though. For some reason, iPhones don't do it, or you can do it from an Android if you use an Android. But that is another way you guys can show some love, support, and everything goes right back into the videos for you guys. And thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without you. I was stoked about this adventure, and I will see you guys next week for another one. Later.